Monday. Wake up, shower, get some breakfast. I had a banana and an orange. And then sat down to clean and tidy my room completely. To provide some context, I've been unwell for pretty much the whole weekend and spent the whole time in bed. For that reason, I'm missing my lectures today, to clean and tidy my room, and also I'm still not feeling 100%. After that, I sit down on my desk to book a haircut for Wednesday. I rather riskily schedule this for in between two lectures, and then I sit down to do my first actual work chunk of the day. Here I'm answering questions from my microeconomic supervision. Now this supervision is all about game theory, and particularly under uncertainty. So things I'm looking at is like chrono competition with sunk costs, and also trying to solve for some Bayesian Nash equilibrium. After that, I head to Sainsbury's to do my weekly shop. I get my weekly shop, come home, put it away, and grab some lunch, which was some tuna, bread, and a bit of fruit juice. I enjoy lunch whilst watching some YouTube, and then sit down to continue working on that microeconomic supervision. I do this whilst eating an apple, and essentially all I'm doing here is writing up my answers formally for the actual supervision itself. After I finish doing this, I head to the supervision, and then come back to get myself some tea. Today I had some fajitas and I batch cooked this. I had some salsa, some sour cream, wrapped them up, and had some leftovers for the rest of the week. I enjoy these and then sit down to do my final work chunk of the day. Here I'm answering some Anki macroeconomic flashcards from the first term of Cambridge this year. I do this for maybe an hour, hour and a half, and these questions are mainly on intertemporal mackerel. I then get ready for bed, do my reading, get into bed, and fall asleep. Tuesday. Woke up, showered, had breakfast, which was the exact same as what I had yesterday. I then got dressed into some actual clothes and began making my bed. After that, I sat down to do some actual work for the day. Here I'm working on some work for my labour economics paper this year. I do this to around 11 o'clock, and then I make my way over to the Tutoring site to go to a lecture. Here my lecture is on econometrics, and after that I go to my girlfriend's accommodation. We then both go back to mine, grab some lunch, and actually start doing some more work. Here I'm working on another supervision, which I have due in a few days. Then people came to take my radiator, so I got an apple and we went to Sainsbury's to get some snacks. Came back and then continued to do some work on the exact same thing I was doing before. I continued to do academic work to around 4:45. At this point, it's time to prepare myself for the tutoring sessions I have this evening. This involves getting any equipment out and ready, opening up the applicable websites and worksheets, and just generally preparing myself for these two sessions. So these sessions run from 5 till 7 with two different people, and after that I head to the kitchen to reheat some fajitas. I have them with cheese, salsa and sour cream, 4 of those wrapped up, and enjoy those whilst watching some YouTube videos. As you can see, my radiator is now fully gone. This is because there's been heating issues throughout the whole building, and hence they're replacing all the radiators within the building. Anyway, I eat dinner whilst watching this video for probably about half an hour, and then I pack my bag to get ready to head over to my girlfriend's. I then leave my accommodation, have the nice walk over through Kings to my girlfriend's accommodation, where I can spend the evening with her and some of my friends, and I guess that concludes Tuesday. Wednesday. Woke up, got showered, had some breakfast. Feeling much better, so I had some porridge today instead of fruit. Then I went to my lecture, had a haircut, and I went to my second lecture, which was microeconomics. I then got dressed into some formal clothes, as I had a career and networking event in London later today. This meant heading to Cambridge train station and getting the train to King's Cross. Got to London and then commuted on the tube to where I was going as my final destination in central London. Had this event which was really great, and then went home for the evening. Here's my desk setup from home, which you may recognise from these videos, and that was pretty much all I did on Wednesday. Thursday. Woke up, had breakfast with porridge and golden syrup, and then spent the morning playing some games with my family. I then got on the train to head back to Cambridge. This meant going to Waterloo, getting on the underground to get to King's Cross, and eventually getting the train from King's Cross all the way back to Cambridge. I did a little bit of work on the train, but in all honesty, I struggled to work on trains properly. Eventually I got back to central Cambridge, got back to my accommodation, and I realised, well, now I'm a bit behind in work, as I've had the last day pretty much off. This meant basically straight away sitting down and doing some macroeconomics work for my supervision, which is due in on the weekend. So I did this for a good hour, hour and a half, and actually got a good chunk of work done, which is really good. I then grabbed some tea, which was some fajitas, and some sweet potato fries, which I had made in the oven. After enjoying that, it was time to get back to doing some macroeconomics work. The supervision I'm working on here is all about monetary economics, and for those of you interested, a lot of the questions about the Bernanke blinder model. I did this till about 9 o'clock, and then I decided to head to the gym. I haven't done any exercise this week, so I walked through King's, headed to the gym. Unfortunately, I couldn't record much because there was someone else there, but here's some pull-ups. It was quite a quick session just getting back into it, which was some pull-ups, some deadlifts, some bench, and some shoulder press. After that, I headed home for the evening, and that was pretty much Thursday. Friday. Woke up and had some breakfast. It was back to a normal porridge, and then I headed to my 9 AM lecture on macroeconomics. After that, I walked back through King's, and it was such a lovely day today. I then sat down to continue doing some work. The work I'm doing here is that same macroeconomic supervision I was doing last night. I'm still just working my way through these questions as this is due on the weekend and I really want to get it done at least by the end of the day. I continued doing this for a good 2 hours until it's time for some lunch. For lunch, I headed to Tesco to get a meal deal. It's triple chicken, a protein bar and a protein drink. The reason I went to Tesco today is because I had a £2.50 voucher, so I thought I may as well use it. I then came back and was going to do some work but procrastinated. I did the main thing I do when I procrastinate, which is doing some chess puzzles. So I did the chess puzzle run and also the chess puzzle rated. I admittedly spent far too much time on chess.com doing these puzzles, but after doing this, I sat down and actually started doing some work again. So again, the work I'm doing here is mainly this macroeconomic supervision. I'm also doing a bit of labour work for another labour supervision I have coming up, but the majority of this work is on that macroeconomic supervision. After getting bored doing that, I sit down and do some different work. Now this work is for a course that I'm planning on releasing in the summer. It's all about getting into Cambridge economics, and essentially right now I'm just planning the syllabus, all the individual lessons, what the videos will look like, who I'm going to get to help me out, etc, etc, etc. I did this to about 4:45, and then it was time to get ready to do some tutoring yet again. So I had a maths tutoring session and an economics tutoring session. And if you're interested in what the hand does during the tutoring session, it's essentially writing loads of stuff down on my little pad, which then goes onto the whiteboard on the screen, and this is what it looks like for an hour of doing that. I then grabbed some dinner, and today I made some fish cakes, some potato wedges, and some tender stem broccoli. I enjoyed that whilst watching a YouTube video, and this was a nice time to de-stress from what's been a relatively busy day today. After finishing tea, I then washed up my plate and all the stuff I had for the dinner itself, and then headed out to Tesco to get some snacks for the evening. I got some chocolate raisins, a chocolate bar, and some biscuits. I had these and headed over to my girlfriend's accommodation, where I then spent the evening with her and some of my friends, and it was a really nice way to chill at the end of what's been a relatively long week. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, let me know, and I'll see you soon.